So there, that optimism. Definitely. Okay, so Buckminster Fuller. Live to serve, serve to solve, invent the words by which to live your life. Great heights are best seen from your lowest point. And this is all about, everything being connected, right? All is connected. All these little grids intersecting. And, it's the world, the collective, and, sitting right above the star here. And what was last time's reading was about how, we're getting ready to move into the age of Aquarius. And, I think that we have the world here and the Queen of Swords here. I think you're definitely taking that to heart. And I think the world is feeling it too, right? All is connected, right? The collective is really, slowly we're not seeing it so much, right? With this Five of Pentacles and the world, we're not seeing it so much. But I think, that's because those of us who are, on a higher level, so to speak, I don't necessarily like to use that word, but for lack of a better word. All right. So, yeah, once again, all is connected. I mean, this is the absolute, this is the heart of the reading, and it makes a world of sense. I mean, look, we have in this picture, there are 2 threads on this side, right? And 3 on this side. Oh, actually, there are 4. I don't know why I thought there were 3. Interesting. And maybe it was because I just saw that one leaf. At any rate, we had 2 on this, and it's messed up my theory, but maybe it's pointing down below too. Who knows? At any rate, it's all connected, right? All of these little bits, and even these leaves, right? They've fallen off of the tree, yet it's all connected, right? It's gonna fall onto the forest floor where it's going to decompose and serve as nourishment, right? All of it connects. And then we have the gardener here, and this is the gardener here, right? Evaluating where we are. And I think, you're very much, just like this says, once again, it's all connected. And I see you, pruning your own garden, right? But you're also evaluating everything, right? It's both, which the star even talks about, this is like, on land is like your own garden, and then this is the collective. And what, the watering yourself still goes into the collective, yes? So I'm even seeing the leaves as kind of like stars. And in the Hermit card, in a traditional, this one is actually a flame, but in a traditional Hermit card, there is a star in the lantern. All right, we're going to go back to the beginning here. Just want to say, this is everything right here. This, and that, deciding what needs to be let go of, right? And kind of just going with the change, because everything is changing. This is even we see autumn leaves here. We're going through autumn, at least in the northern hemisphere. And everything is changing. This Five of Pentacles. And it's like, we see this Queen of Chalices in the past. And I think it's, you really got into that heart space. And you were looking at everything from a very compassionate point of view. And maybe even feeling things a little bit too much. Right? because we do have you showing up as the Queen of Swords here. A little bit more stoic, right? Kind of removing yourself from it a bit. I mean, the Queen of Swords, all queens, you know, they're very connected to their heart. But this might have been kind of a trying time for you, because we do have it touching this Five of Pentacles here. And I do see you doing your shadow work here, right? And we're, like I said, there are going to be some trials, right, that happen. And so, you know, you might be feeling a little left out in the cold, but, you know, I also see you doing this on a global scale, right? Because we have the world here in your earth element. And once again, this is kind of that, I feel like there's this preparation kind of feel to it, and an integration, right? It's like there's an evaluation that's still happening here. I feel like you're connecting, yet you're pulled back, right? This hermit. It's like you're sensing, you're feeling, but you're also kind of removing yourself. It's, you know, which is smart, right? You know, you're compassionate, yet, and it's so Aquarian, really and truly. You know, and I think that's why there's this, you know, this world card is very muted compared to most world cards, right? There's a little bit of pink here, which shows that compassion. The yellow I see as optimism, but it's very, you know, this is the card of Saturn. And so I feel like you're also very realistic, and, you know, because we are in this kind of in-between space, this in-between worlds, and you're being very realistic about it, very stoic, yes, optimistic, compassionate, but very real, and just kind of taking it all in. This might be Saturn too. That's what I was going to look at that. Let's see real quick. I'm just curious. I've been trying to... no, it's Mercury in Taurus. That's interesting. But we do have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, so that makes sense too, right? And the fact that you know, Taurus is Earth, right? So that's what you're very much connecting, that Mercury retrograde, which is where, in Scorpio, which is where we're doing that shadow work. And you're doing it on that global, you're very earth-centered in this. You definitely have the needs, you know, and that's might be where your personal, like, heart, you know, where your heart is. So this is what your goal is. And this King of Wands, I'm definitely seeing as, you know, connecting with your spirit guides, really, you know, ascending in that spiritual path that you're on, right? And you're tending to your bodily needs, to your spiritual needs. Yeah, and you know, we see these little sprouts, and it's like this is just byproducts. That isn't even what you're trying to create, yet you are. These manifestations, right? And there's this joy to it too, right? You're very, very connected. You know, this feels very earthy once again, you know, and this is earth too. So you're connecting with spirit, but you're so grounded, and this is like manifesting like crazy, and you're appreciating you know, it's like you're looking at this, and yes, you're looking at what needs to go, but you're so appreciative of what you do see, and you're noticing all the little, you know, the magic Yeah, and this is the spider that's in this. Once again, you know, the spiders create webs, right? You know, the connectedness, but also that creation. There's always a manifestation, abundance associated with spiders. So then we come here, and this is kind of like more the first week, and I have seen that this first week seems to be that new moon for many of us. You know, this happens the first week, you know, leading up to that new moon. Seems to be that very shadowy side. And then we have, you know, and these are facing different ways, right? And I do think they're both you. It's like you're facing inwards and outwards in the same moment. And look, this is you again. And it's like, you know, I'm drawn to this Liberty card here at the bottom of the deck. Right? I feel like you're kind of cutting yourself free here from the limitations of Saturn. But what's it, you know, but that's Saturn, or maybe you're cutting Saturn free from the limitations of Capricorn. Or the promise is on the horizon, right? Because, you know, it's like you're looking inward and outward at the same time. You're making plans and you're letting your emotions, right? Because this is in the water element, kind of guide you, right? You're still that's why this queen is showing up here rather than the king, right? You're still feeling your emotions, but you're using your logic to kind of like, you know, it's this beautiful intelligence, you know, using your logic and your heart to make decisions, and make decisions on what needs to be cut out too, right? There might be some relationships that need to end, but you're totally being guided by this inward light, right? And you know, this is just this spiritual journey. You know, this is in the fire element, which can be action, but in my readings, they do tend to show up as like this spiritual element. And yeah, I just see you, you know, the inner guide, you know, we see this star in the sky, but this is what you're, you know, you're moving away from that, you know, outward guidance as opposed to inward guidance. And then, you know, the future. And I do feel like this is, you know, wish fulfillment. I do think this is, you know, the age of Aquarius. I do see this as you stepping into your purpose and shining, right? There's this higher viewpoint that's happening here. And guiding others, you know, it's like you're doing the shadow work, but you know, like all of that shadow work is actually, you know, it's like somehow focused on, you know, how you can use that to help others. I just keep on getting this feeling like, you know, this is you know, kind of like offering a helping hand to someone else, you know, this live to serve, serve to solve. And you know, that you're looking at that. You're so looking at that. How you can serve, how you can use your intelligence to solve. Very connected with spirit, right? And this is I am presence once again. All is connected. We are all one. I am you. You are me. You know. Yeah. It's really beautiful. Okay. Let's get a piece of art. Then we'll get closing guidance, and then we will take a look at the underlying energies all together to see what they have to say. And they're really beautiful. All right, a piece of art for Aquarius. I'm wanting to go right in here. Okay, to the right. Ah, beautiful. Eve Klein. Just this blue, right? This blue. This blue, you know, this very deep higher consciousness love, right? And this is like this healing energy that's emanating from you. And this kind of greenish color, of course, is the color of the heart chakra. But then that deeper blue is, just this even deeper kind of love. All right. The Queen of Chalices. Yeah. And then, just kind of this, I love this for you guys. There's like this quirkiness, these appreciating the differences, right? It's like one side is you and one side is someone else, right? And that we are all one, all right? And those pink cheeks. Even this guy has, that compassion.